Welcome to episode 148 of Both Down, the number one Blood Bowl podcast.
From the great state of Colorado now.
That is Steve Kilowoggy Campbell, our traveling vagabond, and I am Scott Prime, your stationary couch potato. Welcome to Both Down.
Yeah, welcome everybody. I'm in Colorado now.
Well, how's Colorado? Land of the weed.
It's pretty awesome. You know what's weird? Like, I'm in Fort Lupton with a friend of the podcast, Craig Ashby, who I am now living with, platonically. Just I have a room. Don't get it skewed.
Did you get man married?
No man marriage. But yeah, weed is legal in this state. I have yet to see a dispensary.
In Oklahoma, weed is legal, and there's about 14 on the way to the gas station.
No, it's medicinally legal. It's completely legal here. But it's up.
Oh, you don't have to have a card?
No, not at all. It's just straight up smoke it if you got it.
Oh, wow.
But I guess
All
it's
right.
done by municipality, so I'm in more of a conservative area that does not want it. I think Craig said they just now passed legislation to allow it. So, But yeah, so far, no weed. Not that I'm really going to partake, but like you said, it's weird. Back in Oklahoma, there's 10 every mile at least.
It sure feels that way. So, I mean, there is 3 of them I could walk to within probably 10 minutes from my house. So, and I'm not in a bad area of town.
Oh, no.
I'm just saying.
Right off the
There's one
highway,
up in
busy street though. So
Well, there's one across
from the donut
neighborhood.
shop, one at the 24-hour one by the gas station.
And then there's one over there by the garage in that area.
Oh yeah, that's the fancy one.
So there really is.
There really
yeah,
is.
There really is 3 of them within walking distance from here. So.
Wow. Well, yeah, it's a little different, you know. No hate to Ohio. I met a lot of great people and had some fun, but I was in a situation where I was basically living with a buddy, his wife, and their 3 kids. So this is much more agreeable to my lifestyle. Plus, Colorado has highways instead of dingy roads going up and down hills in the middle of the dark.
Is that what Ohio is?
So I went to a game shop one time to meet the guys and see the league. And it was an hour away. And that hour consisted of me going through so many small roads and towns. Like no highway, period. It was all back roads. Like maybe little state highways, but, 2, maybe 4 lanes for a little bit. Here, pretty much everything's highway. Now,
that's good.
their highways are horrible. They got potholes everywhere, but it's still a highway.
So it feels like home.
No, this is much worse. Like,
oh, wow.
I've never in Oklahoma seen a true pothole of like 6 inches wide and 4 inches deep or whatever in the middle of a highway.
Nice.
And
welcome to Colorado.
Yeah. But aside from that, it is beautiful out here. The mountains are amazing.
So how far are you away from Denver, since I'm not familiar with your town?
Yeah, it's about 25 minutes northeast, 20, something like that.
Okay, so you're kind of the equivalent of what like Moore is to Oklahoma City?
Yeah. Maybe
Somewhat.
Edmond. Like,
okay.
Pretty much, yeah. But
Okay.
it's been cool. I did get to... Oh, and by the way, for this episode, we're just going to do one segment because we just are busy getting stuff ready for Oklahoma Bowl.
Yeah, this is the first week I haven't had to work a double in a long time.
Yeah,
So,
Scott's been working his butt off, and I've been busy, obviously, moving and everything else. So, but yeah, growing up, there was one place collecting comics that everybody wanted to go. Mile High Comics. Yep.
100%.
And, if you ever read comics back in the 80s or 90s, they had an ad basically where you could buy comics through the mail, which was amazing. The prices were really cheap. And I remember buying mostly good conditions, which are the low end ones. And I would get them in, and I'm like, these are amazing condition. What are they talking about? Did you ever buy anything from them?
Yes, and then I bought something within the last, oh, I'd say 5, 6 years, and they sent me the wrong thing. I contacted them. They said they would send the right thing out, and they never did.
Yeah. Um,
So whatever, whatever.
yeah, so I was finally able to go to that, and that was pretty amazing. However, it very much felt like a 90s store that hasn't been touched since the 90s. There was a lot of
I
cool
heard,
things, but it was such a mess. Things were not organized well. You know, you wanted me to look up some stuff for you. You gave me like four things. I looked up probably about five, six things for myself. I found like two things for me. That was it.
which is crazy because online, their online presence looks like they're super organized,
Hmm.
but I've heard their storefront is like awful. And then when you want something, the guy pulls it down and then looks it up,
Yeah.
and then it's like crazy price. It's like, nah, you keep that then.
Yeah. The ones that I bought were in the area on the floor, and I basically got them for about $2 each because everything was on half price. And that was
Okay.
realistically more than I wanted to pay because these are just old Checkmate comics and
Yeah,
nothing.
they're junk.
Yeah, pretty much. I love them, but they're not anything special. But I wanted to at least buy something from Mile High Comics to say I did. Yeah.
Ironically enough, somebody today on Facebook posted, I'm in Denver for business. Should I go to Mile High Comics? And somebody said, go, look around. Don't buy anything expensive because it's going to be way overpriced.
Hmm.
Just go to their dollar bin, buy a few things so you can say you bought something at Mile High Comics. So they
Sadly
did
true.
exactly what you did.
And
So
I even looked at some of the old stuff, and you're right. They have millions of comics, or at least a million comics in the back, but none of it's on the floor, so I have to get someone to look it up. But anything that I looked up would be way too expensive for more than I want to pay, so it's not even worth it. I
right.
even looked up like where I've been reading the Shadow
Hmm.
novels. I wanted to pick up the Archie Comics Shadows that are
Okay.
absolutely horrible. Nobody loves them because they try to turn him into a superhero with a gaudy, horrible costume. But I figured, what the heck? Let's see if they have them. They had a couple for way, way, way too much. Like
Yeah.
they had I don't know if you ever seen it, but like the hardcover book called Batman from the 30s to the 70s. It was like a
Mm-mm.
large actual hardcover book with a dust cover and
Okay.
everything. I had
Hmm.
it back when I was really collecting, and I saw it there, and I think they wanted $300 for it. And I was like, "There's no way it's worth that." And I go to Amazon, and I could buy it for $10 or $20. Not Amazon, excuse me, eBay.
eBay. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah. That's what I've heard too. So that's kind of sad because yes, growing up as a kid in the 80s, mid 80s to, and through the 90s, I mean,
hmm
we did the same thing. We get a Mile High catalog, and actually we would
yeah.
value our comics based off the Mile High catalog and go, Dad, I got $1,000 worth of comics according to this. And, you know, it was just fun.
I was
And
the idiot who always bought Overstreet every year. Even though it didn't change anything, I just liked having it every year.
it's all right. I think Robert, bought those quite often. So
I think it was like $35, which
they
seemed
weren't cheap.
insane at the time. And even now,
Right.
kind of insane. But so, yeah, I got to do that. Got to travel around a little bit. Went to go see the Mork and Mindy house, which was in Boulder.
Did
And
you get to go in there?
no, it's owned by somebody. So really, I just parked the car, took two photos, and left.
I got you.
You know, and
I mean, is there a sign that says this is the
no,
Mork and Mindy house? No.
not at all.
Okay.
I just knew from online, and we have a buddy
I got,
who loves anything '80s related, so that was the main reason.
I got you.
Um,
Get out of here, you strange man,
hmm
as you're peeking in the windows.
yeah, I didn't want to. I didn't want to be that type of guy.
Well, let's see. Besides me working doubles, I did go down to Texas
Yeah.
and went to Fan Expo for one day. Me, Gary, Drew, and Drew's work buddy Dave, we went to Fan Expo in Dallas, and it was way more crowded than Fan Expo in Kansas City was, almost to a point that it was not enjoyable.
Yeah.
The crowds were, it felt like you were just in this like forceful crowd that was going to push you in a direction. We ended up having fun, but we went just to kind of shop for comics and stuff, and I spent way more money than I should have. But I found like almost a complete run of Thundercats from Star Comics. That
Seriously?
Almost. And then the next day, well, I thought it was a run. I thought I had the complete thing because we went to the con, we shopped around, we then went to a few stores. We left about 5 o'clock, hit a few stores in the Dallas area. Titan Comics, and I can't remember what the other one was called. Common Ground Games was one of them. But there was a comic shop next to Common Grounds. Anyways, I got Thundercats 1 through 18, and I thought I got them all. And then driving back on Sunday, I realized there's 24 of those comics. Mm-hmm. I looked it up. I didn't know that. I've never seen one past 18.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, I'm never going to get these now because I saw eBay prices and they're pretty high. And I don't know if I'm going to pay $35 each for a Thundercats thing. As soon as Gary dropped me off, there was a local guy selling basically the missing issues I was needing for a good price. And so I met him like a few days later after the con and now I have a full run of those Star Comics, which I don't really even need, but the nostalgia part kicked in when I saw them.
Once you get done reading them, let me know a price if you don't want them. I've always wanted the Thundercats. I never bothered to collect them.
I never got them either back then. I did. I read the first one at Drew's house that night. What's funny is at the con, like this is a insider tip here for you guys. Nobody wants to really take their books home at these cons. Not really.
Mm-hmm.
So take cash. I know it sounds insane to take like $500 of cash, but take cash because if you offer them cash, that usually walks faster than paying.
They don't have to report it. They don't lose a percentage.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So there was this one guy who kept saying like, we were like, how much are your books? Because he had them marked, and he goes, the more you buy, the bigger the discount. And me and Gary just made a pile, and we came up to $285.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where a lot of the Thundercats were. And I told Gary, I was like, what do you want to offer him? He goes, how about 200?
Yeah, 150.
And I said 150 exactly.
Yeah.
And I shifted the money around in my wallet, so looked like it only had 160. Mm-hmm. And I went up to him. I said, "There's 285 here. You can double check it." I said, "I'll offer you 150." And he looked at me. He's like, "Can't do lower than 200." And I was like, "Okay." I put my wallet in my pocket, and I go, "Let me help you put them up." And he goes, "Well, what?" And I was like, "Let me help you put them up." I said, "I pulled them all out. I'm not going to let you like have to put them all back up." I said, "I just can't do that." And he's like, "Well, wait a second." And then he like was looking more and more sad. And he goes, "You can't do more than 150?" I said, "Dude, I got 160 in my wallet." And I cracked it open and showed him. And then I was like, "And I got to get some water. It is hot in here." And he's like, "I'll take 150."
Absolutely. I mean, that's the best way to deal.
So,
and you went back to Gary and said, "I got him for 200."
No, I didn't do that. But we walked then, and we were happy with that. And then, like I said, at the Titan books, then I found the rest of the Thundercats I needed, which was funny because another little story here. And I know we're not talking Blood Bowl right now. I promise we will. We're kind of catching up here. So we stopped by a booth that had a Thundercats #1, and I for 100, and I offered him 70, and he wouldn't take it. And so I walked. To me, it's like a house. You just gotta walk and move on. And then we found some adult comic books. Debbie does Dallas, and at this one booth, and I wanted to buy them because I don't know if I told you in Kansas City, I found a whole bunch of those type of books, and
Mm-mm.
that Jennifer didn't know existed. And Gary actually found them, and they were like $1 each, and it was like Bill Willingham's Ironwood and stuff like that.
Oh,
So,
wow.
but they're by Eros Comics. They're adult books from the '90s, you know. So
Yeah.
there's graphic folks.
Yeah, but Willingham's really good.
Right, right. He went on to do Fables and other stuff. But Jennifer didn't know these things really existed. She knew that comics showed like boobs,
Yeah.
but she didn't know like these type of comics existed. So I bought a whole bunch of them in Kansas City, and then me and Jennifer went back together and bought a whole bunch. And those guys were like, "Oh, your girlfriend really does like these," and I'm like, "Yeah." I said I wasn't making her up, and they laughed at me and stuff like that. So when I was in Dallas, you know, so we found a few places that had a few, and then I found somebody who had the Debbie Does Dallas comic book, and I remember from the '90s I had it, and at one point, and don't have it, of course, anymore. And I'm waiting for the guy to finish talking to this like married couple, and then because I'm going to buy them $40.
Sir, I would like to buy your porn, please.
Well, he goes, the husband and wife's there, and he goes, "Well, what do you think?" And she goes, "Sure, let's get them. Why not? They'll be fun. It'll be fun." And so I thought he was going to get like a Golden Age book or something like this, and they shake hands, and the seller goes over there and takes those Debbie Does Dallas books off the rack, and I was like, "Oh my god!" I said, "You cannot do this!" And they were laughing, and I was like, "There's no way another like husband and wife want these," and they're like, "Yeah, we do," and I was like, "Yeah." I said, "Dang it!" I was like, "That's okay. I'm going to use that $40 that I was going to pay for those. I'll use it wisely somewhere else." Sure enough, when we were at Titan Books after the con, the guy had a beat up Thundercats that I wanted to look at condition wise, and I was like, "I can't pull the trigger on this. This is too much." And he goes, "Well, you should have just asked me. I have one in the vault." And I was like, "Why didn't you have the one?
I have a better condition one out, not in view." That's smart.
Right. And I was like, "Okay." So we went over there, we pulled it out. I was like, "How much you want for it?" And he said 50. And then I was like, which was cheaper. It was in better condition. It was cheaper than the one at the con. And I was like, "How about 40? And he goes, "Okay." So I still got my Thundercats instead of my Debbie's Dallas books. So I came back around to that. Like, I'll use that $40 elsewhere. So that completed what I thought was my run at the time of 1 through 18.
I didn't realize they were that expensive. So maybe I'll rescind my offer.
They're just hard to find in decent condition.
Oh, of course, yeah. You know? The Star ones are always
they weren't cheap, and they're not cheap now. So, but I got those. We got some other little gems out at the con. It was fun. We got to hang out with Drew. So, anyways, that's what we did. That's kind of my fun thing that I threw in there during busy weeks of work. Even though it just made me more tired when I came back. So
yeah,
but yeah, good stuff.
I went to a tournament this last Saturday in Colorado Springs.
Let's hear this. I saw you posting stuff, and I was like, I didn't even know there was a tournament in Colorado, and I didn't even know that Steve is going to go to one.
Well, I mean, I've been here all of 3 weeks, so you know. Right. So it was basically World Cup build. Kind of like ours, but, you know, just like everyone's doing right now. And I took my Norse team, you know, and I had everything written out. I didn't realize we were doing this soon, so I don't have a good thing. So I'm just going to go over the meat and potatoes and not all the rest. A lot of fun. Great seeing everyone that I haven't seen in a while. Michael Haley ran it. First round played Arthur and McClelland, and he
Black Orcs.
Yep, his Black Orcs. Very good coach. Did well. He was destroying my team. I think he ended up with like 6 casualties. I might have casualty 2 of his. I think. I know I knocked out a couple of his Black Orcs, but he got all of his knockouts back. I got all my knockouts back too, so that was nice. And 2 of the kickoffs were get the ref. So we had 2 bribes. Never used them. I was too few people to use actually foul people. And then he had a sneaky get that he was using to foul people, so he never got called out. So at the end, we both had 2 bribes left.
But you won.
I did end up winning. I think 1-0 or 2-0. 2-1. I don't know. I don't remember. It's been like 3 days. So why would I remember?
Right.
2 days.
And then your next matchup was against Lizards.
Lizardman.
TJ Jackson.
TJ Jackson. And very good opponent. Very good player. And he took just block on all the lizards. Because that's what you do with lizards. It's real simple. And again...
Yeah, Gary, if he plays Spiky, he's going to do the same thing with block on all the lizards.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, that team just doesn't feel like it's good. And I'm like, you'll be fine.
Yeah, it's perfect. I was, again, not able to break armor for some reason. So I was not getting anybody off the pitch. I couldn't even push anybody off the pitch. He moved a ball carrier right onto the sidelines. And I went to blitz him, and I got it both down. Which is like, yay. But then the ball kicked out of bounds and then went towards my end zone. Like, if it would have went either of the other 2 directions, would have been fine. But no. Then he dodged away and was able to get it. So we tied 1-1.
That's good, though.
But again, really good coach.
It's not a loss.
It's not a loss. It's a tie. Third round, played against Mike Patterson.
What the hell is Mike Patterson doing in Colorado?
Dude likes to travel. He's just hanging out with Haley.
I got you.
They like to drink.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No.
That's so funny when you said round 3 I played Mike Patterson. I was like,
I know.
is there another Mike Patterson? And
Nope.
then when you said the corn team, I was like, it's got to be that Mike Patterson.
Amazing looking team. It's all sharks and sea creatures and stuff. It's corn. And look, I realize I don't know the corn roster extremely well, but I do know that they should not give me 8 casualties and me give them 0.
Wow.
I never knocked out anybody. Stuns. So all I could ever do was maybe a stun. It was a slaughter. That being said, it was still almost a tie. There was a couple of times, again, when the ball was out of bounds and it went towards my end zone that I'm trying to protect instead of any of the other directions. And the very last play of my game, he went after me. But I got the ball. I broke away. I went to just throw a pass down the field. Not even a super long one or a very long one, just -1. And I got a 1. So I fumbled. And of course it went on to the side closest to him instead of farther away or in front. So he was able to go, pick it up in traffic, and then just walk in with 2 go-for-its. And I lost 2-1.
Okay,
And
so it was
just-
a close game, though.
The day of, I was so pissed. I'm like, why do I play this damn game? I hate this game. Why are we doing this? But yes, in retrospect, even being down a whole bunch of people, it was close. So that does make me feel better. And he's a good coach. So it's not like a schlub.
Yeah, you didn't play any schlubs.
No. And definitely I went with putting block on the Yeti because I had the extra skill that was going to go on one of my Valkyries, but I could never figure out what skill to put on him. So I was just like, let's just not use it and put block on the Yeti because I lose 1 skill, but I get that double.
Mm-hmm.
So overall, it was a good practice. In retrospect, I feel very good about that record, even despite my armor just completely imploding. Like I had
Well,
4
I mean,
4 or 5 people on the pitch, and I was still giving him hell. Oh, I forgot to tell
Pretty
you.
crazy you didn't hurt any of his, since his guys are basically Norse linemen with no block.
So in TJ's game, you know how I complained about the kickoff table?
Yes, sir.
He got a perfect defense. I received every single game. And I think maybe I had 4 casualties throughout all of them. But I received, and he got perfect defense. I scored, and then Officious Ref happened and got rid of one of my Ulfroners. And then second, or maybe I didn't score. Either way, the very last one, he got a blitz. So like I thought I had the win, and he got a blitz. And guess what? Skinks with blitzes. I mean,
Yeah,
he rolled D3 plus 3. He had 6. He can move everybody he wanted to. And they just swarm on down and be annoying.
that sucks.
So again,
I
I hate
mean,
the kickoff table.
sure. I mean, 1-1-1. How many people did y'all have?
14?
14?
12, 14, one of the two.
That's good. That's a good little number.
Yeah. The game
Is
shop
this where
was
the
it was a game shop and U-Haul place.
what?
Yep. I should have taken more photos, but you can it was like a legit game shop, but they also rented U-Hauls.
Interesting.
So you walk in and on the right is like boxes and uh dollies you can rent and stuff and straps. Then everything else is a game store.
Okay. All right. Is this the store where your league will be happening? Because you joined the
No.
league, correct?
No,
No.
Colorado Springs is like 2 hours in some way.
Okay. Did Craig go with you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I did join a league here. It's the Denver League, and I'm on the north side of Denver, so I think I'm the farthest north, so I'll have to be going south a lot, I guess. Not sure yet. Played one
Okay.
guy. He was new. Again, I'm taking Norse just to do. And we tied, but then other people wanted to play, so the guy running it tried to add them to the league, and then couldn't, so he just made a new league and had to wipe the previous game. So we're starting over.
Okay.
So I've
So
technically
you had to
played one
practice.
game, but it is kind of like a practice game.
So you had a scrimmage.
Pretty much, yes.
So I noticed in your pictures you have your Old Norse team.
Hmm.
Is it because the other one hasn't arrived yet?
No, I have the other one. I've had it for a while. I just don't want to bust it out yet.
Okay. I was just curious. So,
Yeah. No, I
I
was just
mean,
going to save
that's
those
your
for
problem.
the.
You need some new uniforms.
I know. That's what I'm hoping. So I'm
You're gonna
saving
save
them
that
for the World Cup. Yeah.
Okay.
I thought about it, but I'm
Um,
like, nah, it'll be more fun to wait.
So our league, interesting enough, is going along. We're in the final month of the regular season before we get to playoffs, and because some people decided that they weren't going to play in the month of June, I also decided not to play in the month of June because I knew I had first place locked up. I feel like I'm kind of being a wuss, but I was also very scared that I was going to get some of my guys, injured.
Yeah.
I have a block dodge. He has something else. I think he's qualifying block dodge tackle Pestigore, who's was leading the league in touchdowns. I've block on quite a few of my guys and stuff like that, and my bloaters keep getting hurt, so I didn't want to take any chances of getting anybody hurt, and so therefore, no matter what happens, I am in sole first place of the league. I with a record of 8 wins and 1 tie. We
Wow.
play a league that's month to month. In case you're listening to the first time ever, every month you get to decide how many you want to play 1, 2, 0 games. You can maximum you can play is 11 games. But yeah,
For the season, not the month.
and then you only need seven games played to enter the playoffs. So we have 22 coaches. We will have play-in games, or as we're calling it, like the wild card weekend. So right now, I think it's the first 11 spots are guaranteed that you get like a first round bye, kind of like the NFL does. And so yeah, first place with Nurgle, 8 wins, 1 tie, 0 losses. And several people today informed me, I got messages that said, I'm according to Tour Play, and I don't know how they figure this out, but now they have some type of ranking system in here. And I mean, I don't know how they can have a ranking system when
Yeah,
I only
no
play
idea.
teams in my league.
Yeah.
But I am the number 1 Nurgle coach in the United States, and I am 3rd overall in the world,
Wow.
according to what this says in Tour Play.
Well,
Now-
congrats.
So I will take it, and at the same time, I'm a little angry about it because when you start seeing ranks and stuff, then you start like worrying about that stuff, and I don't want to even think about that stuff because I do get competitive, believe it or
Yeah,
not.
absolutely.
So I should probably take a screenshot of this while I have it and enjoy the fact that for at least a little bit, I was the number one Nurgle coach in the United States. I'm sure there's only like 5 of us, and then there's like 8 people in the world, but I will take it. I will enjoy it. And I just want to know what those other Nurgle coaches are who's second and first. Because if I'm 8 wins and 1 tie, their record's way better than that, right? So
I am the 29th overall Amazon coach and regionally ranked United States Amazon second.
is that from last season?
I guess so.
Playing then,
And
yeah.
then for College of Fire, I am the 17th overall, but
Yeah.
the 5th
Let's
regional for United States, I guess.
let's talk about that.
I don't know what any of that means.
I only played a few games, 3, with my College of Beast team.
Mm-hmm.
I am 16th overall in the world, and I'm 7th in the United States. My record is 0-3.
Yeah, this seems wrong. But maybe there's just not that many played.
But it is Blood Bowl related, so I thought we should talk about it since this is brand new. Like
Yeah.
I said, many people texted me today like, "Congratulations, you're the number one United States Nurgle coach." I'm looking at my old World Alliance team, and I am the 3rd in the United States and 5th in the world. So whoever's ahead of me, congratulations.
Yeah, I don't know how they're doing that, but whatever.
I don't either. Let's see here. I went 1, 2, 3, 4.
Like, I loved her play, but I really wish it was more user friendly.
I think I went like 12 wins, 1 tie, and 3 losses for that Old World Alliance team. So,
but it's
anyways,
good.
Yeah. Well, it's not good enough. I'm 3rd in the United States. I let everybody down, but 5th overall in the world. Anyways, it was just kind of fun, and it's nice to say that even though I don't understand it, and since I didn't play really anybody else in the world, that I'm 1st in the United States. So I'll take it.
Absolutely.
Just a fun little thing. So again, I don't know how they figured this out. So yeah, I'll be the number 1 seed going into it, and it's not looking great right now. It looks like I'm in my little pod. Once we get down to 16, I might have one or both the dwarf teams in that little pod. So
that might be better for you. I mean, you have more speed, I guess.
Just barely, yeah. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I still don't. I think my Nurgle team is some bad dice rolls away from definitely losing, but we'll see.
Well, it's any team, so yeah.
I guess so. I got to keep telling myself that even if I lost the first round of the playoffs, I went 8-1-1. You know, like that's still a good record overall. So
it's like having an undefeated season, then going into the playoffs and losing.
Yeah, that's pretty much what could happen for sure. Interesting enough, Drew didn't qualify this season. He was really busy this summer.
Yeah, he's still busy.
He didn't get. Yeah, work is killing him, so he didn't get up too often and stuff. So
he's not coming to Oklahoma Bowl. He hasn't been doing the World Cup report. I mean,
work is killing him. Every time I talk to him, work is doing stuff, and it's always on the weekends. I'm like, bro, you get paid more.
Yeah, he's got a couple of years to tough it out, and then he gets retirement.
Oh, that's
from the company. He's not old enough to retire, but
gotcha.
Then he can change jobs at least.
Other Blood Bowl stuff. Anything else we got on besides the upcoming tournaments? Anything else going on with you?
Not me. I'm flying in for Oklahoma Bowl, so we got that coming. That'll be fun.
Some news broke in it. Go ahead.
Yeah, as I say, GW released images of Gutter Bowl.
That's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah. And again, GW, maybe allow people to talk about things when you release them. Like, if for, say, some other video podcast or video cast or Twitch stream or something received an advance copy of it, it'd be nice if they could talk about it when it was released. But, you know.
No, you got those, what are they called? NDAs or whatever they're called. So,
yeah, so.
Who knows?
Is
maybe
what it
next
is.
month if somebody had one of those,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, of course.
Maybe those people could talk about it maybe next month. So,
and I don't I don't understand what the point is of showing it early and then waiting. I guess it's to build excitement, so then when someone releases something, then people listen or whatever.
I don't know. Maybe.
I don't know.
It doesn't matter.
So based off what we've seen so far, it's just a co-opting of the Street Bowl rules.
From everything
idea.
I've put together, yes, it's. I mean, I hate to say it, it's something I'm not really that interested in this moment.
Zero interest.
So maybe once some more information comes out, I'll be interested. But I truly doubt it because I just rather play Blood Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, we both really like Dungeon Bowl. Of all the variants, that's probably our favorite. That and Blitzball.
I like it.
I need to get Blitz. I need to do the Blitzball still. I keep forgetting about that.
I haven't played Ultimate Blitzball or whatever, Ultimate Edition Blitzball.
Yeah.
I haven't.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I found one right after Christmas. I went down there to Barnes and Noble and I was like, let's see if they, because they were discounting a bunch of games, and they put one on the shelf right as we were in there, and I was like, I'll take it.
Huh.
And so I got it kind of discounted off.
Why didn't you mention that? We could have done, I don't know, a Blood Bowl podcast about it in this last 6 months.
Oh, that I had the Ultimate Edition Blitz Bowl?
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't played it though, so like I haven't.
We've reviewed a lot of things we have not played, sir.
that is fair. Okay.
Well, I guess next month we can talk about.
Well, you're going to be in town. Maybe I'll see you enough that we can play a game.
Yeah,
so.
I'm pretty sure that's not going to happen.
Well, it might not, but
no, I didn't know you had that.
Yeah, I thought you already had one.
Never got the Ultimate.
Oh,
wasn't able to.
Yeah, it was weird because we were there and I was looking around. I was like, I guess they don't have one or something. And then somebody came around and said, help you find something? And I just told him what I was looking for, and he had it like on his little pushy thing. So I was like, oh, okay.
Like, you do realize we do a Blood Bowl podcast where we're always looking for things to talk about. So, like, a new release of a Blood Bowl related game is typically something we do.
But I didn't think about it. Obviously. Steve, do you know what life is like with a 16-year-old?
No.
Who, and I want you to remember where they're coming from. They're half me and half my ex-wife.
Yeah, that's horrible.
You can yes, you can imagine what I'm talking about. And like, my kid is not bad, but it is a teenager that's half me and half my ex-wife, and at moments she's brilliant and wonderful, and other times I'm like, what were you thinking? And I'm not even going to get into it on the podcast, but it's mind-blowing.
Yeah.
So, and yet she'll go to work and do amazing things at Firehouse Subs where she's working. Oh, last night I got the mother load from Firehouse Subs. I will pick her up because that's all I also been. Since she's working, I'm just an extra taxi, even more than I was before, for like band stuff and color guard and all that. So now,
when'd you get her license?
She does have her license. We're still trying to get a car and stuff like that. So, anyways, she comes out to the car and goes, "Hey, somebody didn't pick up their order tonight. They're just going to throw it away. Do you want a sandwich?" And I said, "Sure." She goes, "Well, which sandwich do you want? Because we're just going to throw them all away." And I was like, "Don't you throw any sandwiches away from Firehouse. I'll take whatever y'all don't want." She gets in the car, 5 sandwiches. Now, ready for this? There's some chips. There is some, a couple cookies, and there's a couple of sodas. And I said, "I know you had to throw away the sandwiches. Why didn't you put the chips back on the rack? Why didn't you put the bottles of soda back in the
Right.
refrigerator.
Yeah.
Why didn't you put the wrapped up cookies back with the other wrapped up cookies? Oh, we didn't even think about that. Because the
Wow.
manager's like 2 years older than my daughter,
Yeah.
so they're all kind of morons.
Well, I mean,
And
it's already been paid for in their eyes, so.
yeah, and that's what somebody bought them and didn't pick them up. And dude, I had a sandwich last night for dinner. I had a sandwich for breakfast, and then I had the other half of the sandwich for lunch. It was not too bad for warmed up sandwiches from Firehouse Subs. Jennifer came over and got a sandwich, so I
So,
got some perks. I
opposite
got
of
like,
that, I'm in Colorado now. So, there's a little outdoor shopping plaza about 30 minutes away, has an AMC, so I went to go see a movie. And I was walking around the area, and I found this brewery, and it has pinball machines. So I walked in. They have like 24 pinball machines,
that's a good thing.
all of them LE editions, like the premium of the premium machines.
Okay, so
So
you're
like,
happy.
and they have like the premium James Bond 60th anniversary that is like limited to 100 machines or 500 machines, I forget, and it costs like $3 to play because it's so limited.
Oh wow.
So I was like, I'm going to have to hit this place one time when I go back to watch another movie. So Flash comes out, and it's a Thursday, and on Thursdays the machines are supposed to be half off. Well, I go, and I have my meal, and where this relates to yours, being in Denver at a hipster place, I got the fish and chips for $19.
What?
And that was probably the cheapest thing there, except for maybe a burger. Um, and they looked good, but they were so mediocre. It was sad. Like it was the fish was fine, but the batter was not like your regular fish and chips batter. It was kind of a thicker. I don't know. It wasn't great. After it got a little bit cold, it was they were just fine. But for that price, I wanted more than fine. But that does not happen around here. Everything's super expensive. So
Wow.
that was fun. And then I went to go play pinball machines, and they were not half off, which kind of annoyed me. I'm like, oh, I thought this was Thursday, whatever. So I played like $20 worth or something. And as I'm finishing my last game, the guy is going around to other machines to put them at half off because it doesn't kick in until after 7. And my movie was at 7:15.
Oh,
I was like, ah, damn
oh,
it.
oh, I'm sorry, buddy.
But it's still cool to have that place that close. And there's another one, like maybe 10 minutes further, that has another 20 machines, another brewery. So I got to test that out.
Okay.
But the
Well,
AMC theaters here suck. Their seats are horrible. And I went to another one that's now about 40 minutes away, and it was gigantic, like brand new, had 24 screens. And like it was, think the Warren, but like one and a half that size. And the center area you walk in is where you buy your tickets, and then you go up to the concession stand, and it has a, you know, grab and pay, and you walk in on one side, you can grab stuff or your to go stuff, and then you can pick up, and then you can go pay and all this, and it's like really kind of amazing. But I went there to check out. They had IMAX laser, and it's supposed to be laser projected IMAX.
okay.
It was showing The Flash. I didn't want to see The Flash again, but I bought a ticket anyways because I got the $20 you can watch 3 movies a week deal. So it didn't cost me anything. I went there. I go watch the beginning of The Flash again. The the setting, like the actual visuals with that IMAX laser, is awesome. Like it's really worth going to. And the seats looked better than all the other ones. It looked like it had padding, and you still don't have your own armrest, but it did look padded. The padding was super hard, and when I sat down, the seat was lower than my knees. So it was uncomfortable.
Hmm.
And it was just like, Why can we not have one decent theater with good seats? The Warren has spoiled me.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Like, even with it being a Regal, I would gladly take that over anything else around here.
Well, you ready to talk about Oklahoma Bowl weekend? So
I mean, what's there
we
to talk
can.
about? We've already gone through over the rules.
Well, I know that. Um, so
Oh, meetup.
it's
Yeah.
weird. It's weird because Steve is states away.
Mm-hmm.
I am scared to death that we're gonna miss things. I'm
Technically
scared
one
to
state
death.
away
Yeah, I
because we
know. Isn't
connect to
that
the
weird?
Panhandle.
Yeah, I know, but that's like a million miles
Oh,
away.
yeah.
Um, so I'm like really freaking out at this point. We're recording on Monday,
Mm-hmm.
um, before the event, and I'm freaking out because like I have stuff at my house for giveaways and raffle tickets and stuff like that, but I feel like we're missing so many things, and
Yep.
I guess I'm gonna try to get off work early on Friday, and then come pick you up at your hotel, and we'll try to get as much together as we can, and just it's gonna be a busy Friday for sure.
Yeah.
But we'll make it work. We're sitting at about 46,
46,
45, 40,
something like that.
something like this, mid 40s right now.
Yeah.
Um,
Which we didn't
probably
sell
enough
out,
to,
unfortunately. And I think a lot of that's because June is
uh,
not a good month because there's so many other tournaments going on.
no, I think we probably long term made a mistake on moving it when most people we had them trained to kind of come in on
Yeah.
March. So we'll reevaluate the situation
We'll move it back or
for
maybe April.
next year.
Yeah.
Even people like Dustin and John can't make it this year because of already prior commitments and stuff like that. So, but really, I mean, if you think about it, if you would have told us 10 years ago that you're going to be working at Oklahoma Bowl 11 and you're going to be upset that there's only like mid 40s,
Yeah, I
I
know.
would have said you are crazy because that's more than double now. And
Yeah.
anyway,
It's
it
still a
doesn't
good
matter.
turnout.
Yeah, we're gonna have fun. We get to practice with some World Cup rules. Which
World Cup is not helping for sure. Because I talked to
um,
multiple people at Colorado who are like, yeah, I mean, we'd go, but World Cup's already put us on a strain for the money. I'm like, I get it.
no, and I think it's great that a lot of people are going to World Cup, and that's going to be a huge, giant event. But I'm already sick of kind of running tournaments with the World Cup rules. Quite
Mm-hmm.
frankly, I wish we could have kind of done our own thing. But it's one year to do something different. Friday night, we are going to get together just like we did last year at Oklahoma Bowl. We had a meet and greet at Rudy's Barbecue in Norman. And I
Mm-hmm.
know if you're from Texas, you're saying, oh, God, it's Rudy's because we have those everywhere in Texas. I know. But this is a place that will allow us to, for the beer drinkers out there, they can get together and drink some beer and talk.
Decent
Um,
barbecue.
you can buy some barbecue. You can buy the meat by the pound or a side or share with your friends. Whatever you want to do, you can. Their food's not bad. I
No.
mean, I like their breakfast foods better. I like their like brisket tacos and stuff for breakfast more than dinner stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't. Their food's fairly good and stuff. But more than anything, they're excited to host us. If you are coming, you can say that you're with the Both Down podcast or Scott Prime. She put all that stuff down. They're going
It
to have
won't
that same.
matter. We're gonna be in that back room that's giant anyway. So
No, and I don't think it's going to matter. She said they'll start reserving it, so we're there for 7 to close.
yeah,
If we want to stay that long.
the
Closes
group is. You and I will probably be there from like 7 to 8, and then go finish up more stuff.
quite possibly, for sure. It closes at 9, so no matter what, even if we were there the whole time, we get out of there by 9 so we can
Yeah.
wrap up our stuff and then get ready for the next day. Just kind of some reminders in case you do listen to this before you come to the event. I just pulled up the rules and I don't have them here. So
If they
let's
have not
see.
submitted rosters by now, they're in trouble. That actually is like 8 people, so you guys are in trouble.
Yeah, you're in trouble. 8 o'clock is when we're going to open the doors at Wizards. And I say this because every year, and I'm not really mad at people for showing up early because you get up, you're excited, and you're already
Yeah.
dressed. So you said, might as well go to the store. We're going to try once again not to park at the edge of the store. So please park out in the main parking lot.
It won't be
Otherwise,
cold
I'll
this year,
asked.
though.
Huh?
It won't be cold this year.
No, it's not going to be cold. It's going to be warm. Might be too warm. So 8 o'clock is when doors open. I think we have enough fields to cover it. So if you're listening to this prior, you don't have to bring your field.
If you have a neoprene one and you are able to bring it without any difficulties, feel free. We may take
Sure.
you up on it. If not, it's also fine.
We're going to try our best to like have fields laid out so everybody can just not have to move field to field to field, from table to table to table.
When it comes to spiky,
Right.
though, we might have to figure it out. But we should have enough still.
Due to like Steve being states away, me being busy and stuff like that, we are gonna kind of do a little bit of registration, a little bit different. In the past, we had all these little baggies and name tags and stuff like that. We're gonna have some like buckets, so when you go through the line, we're gonna hand you some dice. We're gonna hand you this. We're gonna hand you that, and then
Raffle
check
ticket,
in and
your
move
name
on.
tag, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Oh, name tags.
yeah. So I don't know.
Maybe
We
not
might
name
have
tags
to
this
just
year.
well, we might just print off some blank ones and we can cut those out or something like that. I know.
Yeah, but I have to find the lanyards,
Oh, yeah.
which shouldn't
We
be
might
an
not.
issue.
Yeah, we might just not have name tags this year. So it is what it is.
Truth be
But
told, a lot of my stuff is in storage, which I will be going to Friday, probably. But I've got to
um,
find it.
are you going to tell everybody what they're getting for registration, or did you want to
Nah.
keep some of that kind of secret?
Nah, we'll keep it secret. Why not?
Because the one thing is very kind of humorous and funny.
I love the one thing, and the other things are really cool too. So, but I'll keep
Okay.
that. We'll give us something more to talk about afterwards, and we'll have
Okay.
extra so we can put it up on the website and sell it.
I know if Miles, if you're listening, you might know what the one kind of humorous, cool thing that Steve is talking about.
Oh, he was the inspiration?
He was the inspiration, yes.
Oh, nice. Okay.
That I'm pretty sure he got from somewhere else, but still,
Oh, sure.
it's still
Yeah,
the
yeah.
inspiration
That's right.
for the humorous thing. So I'm looking forward to seeing.
Yeah, Miles,
Uh,
remind me, and I'll give you an extra one or two if you want.
Okay, yeah, I'll pass it on.
I do love
I'm just
that.
looking forward. Yeah. So you're gonna get some dice. We know that for sure, right?
Other stuff.
And definitely some other cool things. The little trophies are unique this year, and they're going to be customizable, meaning like you can paint them however you want
Hmm.
if you happen to win one of these things. But
We'll go into more detail on that as well.
yeah, I think it's better.
I
kind
have
of
an
to save
idea
that.
for it, and we've got to discuss if that's something we want to do or not.
So, anyways, round one's 8:30, round two's 10:45. We'll have lunch. Then round three is at 2 o'clock, and round four at 4:15. We should be done hopefully by 7 o'clock. And
Yeah.
that should give plenty of time for people to go out to eat, relax, rest, get drunk, whatever they want to do to come to
Spiky
the
is
next.
Yeah, Spiky's the same schedule, just knock off one round.
Correct. So yeah, same thing. 8 o'clock. Usually, people don't show up early for Spiky because they're already checked in. They've seen everybody and they're tired. So
Yeah, absolutely. Oh,
Um,
speaking of breakfast, not really. So the last tournament I went to, World's Mountains Edge, I think, World's Edge Bash.
okay.
Um, They did lunch after one round, which made sense because it started late and whatever. But for breakfast, went to Chick-fil-A because they have spicy chicken biscuits here.
Oh, that makes you happy.
Oh, it does. It makes me very, very happy.
Steve's a happy boy. You didn't have those in Ohio?
No, it was just regular Chick-fil-A, and they had like one, and it was by the mall, so it was always super busy.
Yeah, well, they're all super busy usually. So.
Yeah.
Anything else that we can think of? You are going to have to use the Oklahoma Bowl or Spiky Cup dice, depending on what tournament is. Same standard stuff.
Whatever we have extra, we'll put online. I've got other stuff as well that we can start selling. We need to, now that I have time and I can actually send stuff out easily without having to worry about where's the money going to be, or, did it get taken by the system, or, where's all my supplies? I can actually do stuff now, so I'll be starting
Yeah,
that
in
back
case
up.
anybody's wondering, Steve didn't change jobs. He changed locations.
No, still
Same company.
State Farm, great job. Luckily, Colorado, that's part of the reason I did it. Colorado and Ohio, similar enough in licensing that it allows me to keep the same job, the same position, same everything, and just move. Since I'm remote, didn't make a difference.
That's good.
Absolutely. Because this job is amazing.
You liking it?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of work. We're getting more and more files now. We're getting into the rhythm. I think I've got like 36 files right now. When I'm fully up and running, I'll have like 250.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, I don't know how that's going to happen, but whatever. I'll figure it out.
Okay.
And they're super lenient, like with everything. Excuse me, because like I told them, I needed off for this time, and they're like, "Yeah, sure, no problem." Even though it's during training, they're like, "Yeah, whatever." You
You're still training?
Yeah, it's like a 6. It's like, hell, see, we're on 3 months, 4, so probably total of 5 months training or so. But realistically, everyone I've talked to has said you will not feel comfortable in the job for at least a year. That's the expectation. So, like, we learned all the basics, and then we were given files. I'm an injury adjuster, if anyone wants to know. So for auto. Then I started getting files, started doing some little tasks, and then we started getting some files that had already been opened, so we just had to do some of the end tasks. And now we're starting to get brand new files. And I haven't got any serious injury ones yet, so those will be coming later as well, because those require different handling and stuff. But yeah, it's a lot to learn.
Okay. Well, good luck on that.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's nice that you got to transfer easy.
They were super cool about it. They're really cool about, the time off. I earn a lot of time off, so I'm able to do this weekend. I'm able to do the August weekend for the game weekend for friends, and then got World Cup, and I'll be able to go to Chaos Cup and more if I want. So it's nice.
Okay. Just sort of
Chaos
a reminder.
Chaos Cup. Do you want to talk about Chaos Cup?
Well, hold on. Yeah, we can here in a second. Oklahoma Bowl. Just remember, a lot of those things that came out like 2 weeks ago, the update to World Cup, like Stinky Git. Can't
Spain one.
You can't run up to somebody, kick them, and then run away. Some of these rules have been changed. We're going to be following those the best we can. So, because the World Cup is
bomber, all that stuff. Yeah, Chaos Cup sold out in a couple of weeks at 200 people.
Say it right now. I am shocked because with the World Cup, with the GW Open or whatever they're calling those things, that's like
I haven't heard anything about those.
Weeks ahead. I can talk about that a little bit. Weeks ahead of the event. I'm shocked. I mean, I'm shocked and not shocked. I mean, Florida did show up by like 75 90, coaches.
I think it's like 88 people.
Okay. So they did their job, and then everybody else did theirs. So, like, that's pretty impressive. So, as of this moment, we're planning on going, and I don't know how, but Steve says I'm going, so I guess I'm going.
You're going. We'll figure it out.
That's pretty impressive. The Kansas City at the, I can't remember what they called it. It was not the Carnage this year. It was like Kansas City.
No idea.
The GW event in Kansas City, the regional event, the GW Open in Kansas City about 2 to 3 weeks ago. I guess it was 2 weeks ago when I was down in Dallas. There was, I believe, 16 in attendance, which was down from the previous year. And so remember the year before, Nancy got first. Nancy, forgive me, I'm going to say your name wrong. Poxletter or something like that.
Yeah, Poxletter.
Her husband this year won it.
Oh, that's cool.
He took Slan. I'm not Slan. I'm sorry. Lizardmen. He took Lizardmen. Or not Lizardmen. I still have it wrong.
You want to keep going with something else?
He took Amazons.
Oh, okay.
No, he took Amazons with Dribble and Drool,
Oh, damn.
and
Yeah.
went through 6 rounds, and he was the winner. I, golly, I don't want to say his first name wrong, and I cannot remember it in this moment. I want to say
Wait.
it's like Justin or Jacob or
You
something
took
like
Dribble
that.
and Drool?
He took Dribble and Drool, and I
Can't
probably even
with
said
Amazon, can you?
for
Not for the NEF because they're not allowed. So this was
No,
not an
you're
NEF
think- you're-
tournament?
You're thinking this is World Cup build, and this is not World Cup build. This is GW's build.
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
this is
Duh.
Like 1200 and
I'm so
all
used to
that.
World Cup build that I'm like, they're not allowing those yet.
Well, that's because everybody is, taking them. So,
Of course.
Trying to find the actual post and see if I could tell you who won what.
I
or
didn't
who
see
didn't.
any advertising for it. Or any posts.
Yeah, I don't want to be crappy and say that myself, but I don't remember seeing it either. So
I'm not trying to say in a rude way. I'm just like, if I don't think Luft was running it this time. So if he wasn't doing
No,
it, did he?
he 100% was.
Oh, okay. Well, shows me. I don't know.
Yeah. So, anyways, I cannot find the date on the name, but Nancy's husband won it all. I don't know what the
Bruce
record was
Boxleiter.
on that. Who?
Bruce Boxleiter.
Bruce?
No, it's an old actor from the 80s.
No. Oh,
Bruce
okay.
Boxleiter. I don't know why I know that name. He was in something.
You're in something. That's all I know. Anyway, let's talk about that real quick. People are probably gonna get mad at me for saying this, and I think the Blood Bowl community has a right to I hear this all the time. A new team comes out, and they, people either love it or hate it, and there's people in between, and that is perfectly fine because there's teams I hate too. The Amazon team, I do not like the miniatures and stuff like that. I've heard people complain that these GW Opens, they don't want to go to them because they cannot play with their own teams because they buy these third-party teams and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the meme, I think is it a Key and Peele thing where it shows the guy shooting somebody and then he's like, why would they do that?
No, it's Eric Andre.
Eric Andre.
Don't be racist.
Okay. So that meme, I knew it was some comedian, but I just couldn't remember the name. Why does that make me racist?
Because the only thing they had in common was he's a black guy. You're horrible.
Okay, I'm a terrible person. I hate you sometimes.
I'm probably wrong. I don't know.
Okay, is it Eric Andre? Is that the
should be,
name
yeah.
I'm thinking about? Okay. The Blood Bowl community at times, we want GW to do things for the Blood Bowl. They forget the Blood Bowl community. They only cater to the Warhammer people. And then when they do something for us, Kansas City is a major city, and yet they could only get 16 people.
It's not solely that, though. What did it cost to get in?
It was probably ridiculous like it was the year before, which is probably $80, which I agree.
How much is the hotel there?
I'm not saying anything you're saying is wrong, right. But what I am saying is there still should be more than 16 people there because all the Warhammer people show up for that stuff.
Because
and if
it matters.
Want this stuff to grow. Okay.
I'm just saying, I understand where you're coming from, but
I think it's embarrassing that the Blood Bowl community could only get 16 people there with all that build up. We've had almost a year.
But what build up? That's part of the problem. Is we have not seen any advertising besides a few posts from GW officially. There's not stuff going on in the Blood Bowl forum or on the Blood Bowl community. There's not people talking about it. It's not on any of the Discords I know. It's in Kansas City, right? So it could have been in the Scars Discord. If it was NEF approved, it should have been on the NEF Discord. People could be talking about it. Right now, nobody wants GW doing anything with Blood Bowl rather than just putting out damn teams.
I agree with that too, but still, 16 people.
Yeah.
16 people.
And aren't Nancy and her husband from like Jersey or something?
They're from the East Coast.
Yeah.
I think they're from like Virginia or West Virginia or somewhere like that.
I always say Jersey. I don't know why, but
I have the results. So yeah,
they travel. Go ahead.
It was Joe Poxletter.
Leitner,
I believe.
Whatever.
I'm saying that right. Joe won. Second place was Colin Burke. Third place was Henry Winiski. I mean, if you look through these names, and this doesn't mean anything because I don't go to all the events. I know Nancy. I know Corey Avon. I know Patrick Morsey.
Corey?
And I know Joe. Yeah.
Huh.
And I know Joe, who won it. I recognize those 4 names out of the 16, which tells me...
Is that Aaron's kid?
Well, Aaron's not there, so I don't know. This is, Henry. So there's a lot of names here I'm not familiar with, and that doesn't mean anything. But that means, like, there's 12 new people maybe there from last year even. Richard Moore, I believe, comes to some of our events every now and then. So I think he's a Kansas City guy, too. So that's 5 names. But I still think it's embarrassing, and I think we got to try to do a little bit more. Now, I know people are going to go, well, you didn't go. Well, I didn't, but I did go last year.
And again, I'm going to say that GW needs to do more. I get they want people to use their models. That's perfectly fine. How many trophies did they give away last time?
They only gave out 4 last time, and they gave out more this time. Okay. I know that for sure. So,
did you get special dice?
No, and they're never going to do those things because they don't think they need to because it's a Warhammer event. And yes, I know they care more about Warhammer events.
But it's stupid expensive.
It is.
It's not even like a little bit expensive. Like
the fields that they put together, they actually, how there's all that dead space on the sidelines. Mm-hmm. They filled it up with a little bit more like there's a scatter template on there. There's like a kickoff chart. So they did put a few more things on there. But
so they updated the fields? I didn't even know that. See, and again, if I had known that, I probably would care enough to get a pitch. Well, because, again, those are going to be the least produced official Blood Bowl item ever.
Yeah, these are going to be even more rare than the ones last year.
Yeah.
Than last year. They all have, like, Blood Bowl right in the middle, too, and I don't think the other ones did.
No.
So.
I don't know. I get where you're coming from. Yes, they should have more than 16 people. But 0 publicity, 0... anything given for attending, because you don't even get a pitch, do you? Or do you get it? You get one free for attending?
No, last year we got a free one for attending. Okay. I do think it's high. I do think they could make special dice, but
they should allow you to get in just for paying for the Blood Bowl and not the whole damn thing. Give you a special wristband that says Blood Bowl only.
Maybe so.
What are they losing out?
I mean, they might not care. They might have been happy that they only took up, 8 long tables instead of, 16 long tables like last year. But I still just think it's a little weak that some of the local people that are like in that same state didn't go to it. But I don't know.
Start naming off Missouri people?
Oh, their situation. No, I could. I mean, no, I'm not going to. And I know life changes for people, but I still think it's weak. And I don't think I'm a bad person for saying that. I mean, once I heard there was only 16 there, I felt terrible, because, at the last second, Gary told me like, hey, let's go to this con for one day. And
legitimately, what does it cost to get in?
I believe it was $80.
Does that give you the Blood Bowl game as well, or do you have to pay for that?
No, that's your sign-up fee.
Okay.
For Blood Bowl, you get the free sevens tournament if you want to do that on Friday night, which we didn't. We chose
I don't care about sevens at all.
And that gives you a field.
Is a 2-day tournament?
It is. They still ran it as a six round tournament for this event with only 16 people. It was called Maelstrom in the Midwest this year. So
yeah. So if that were in Denver, and I'm here, and it's a GW ran event, let's say Luft is not running it because I like Luft, I would probably just go to hang out with him and see him. You know, but it's you telling me it's $80. There's only a handful of trophies, and all I get's a pitch. Now, me probably gonna go because of the pitch, but if there was no pitch, I don't. It's just too damn much.
Okay.
Like especially if it was someplace I had to travel to and get a hotel, and there's no way I'm getting a hotel at that hotel because it was like $300 a night.
Oh, we didn't do that either. I just don't want to hear blood. I don't want to hear Blood Bowl people complain like 2 years from now that goes, well, GW never supports us because they tried, and you
Yeah,
know,
but GW is also giving us Gutter Bowl.
I mean,
I mean,
enough said on that.
I don't want
Yeah.
to burn any bridges that we have with GW, but we tend to keep it real here.
Here, let me crap on everybody else's
I'm sorry.
a trip on the Maelstrom in the Midwest. Nancy, you are the only person that gets a both down approved theme team name with the New Orc Jets. Everybody else's names pretty much suck.
Okay. But yeah,
They're all like, screw this podcast.
GW's involvement with the game, from what it feels like, has overstayed. And as stupid as it sounds, is like they're putting out rules that are incorrect. They're having to errata them. They're putting out teams that are probably messed up, but they won't admit to it. There's no way that 4-strength Amazonian is supposed to have single access or 3+ or whatever. There's something wrong there. That's too good. The passing in the new thing, people were complaining about. There's a lot of things. And then the fact that we have not got a new team since last September. It's 9 months. And the thing we're going to get is old teams and Gutter Bowl. Or Gutter Ball, whatever it is. Gutter Bowl.
Right.
And again, maybe it's fun. Maybe it is. But it's one pitch with rules, and I think I've seen one person excited for it online, maybe two.
Right.
I don't know.
Quickly, since I'm already badmouthed the Maelstrom in the Midwest enough by saying the Blood Bowl community didn't show up, I'm gonna run down the winners here. Joseph Poxletter, he got first. I said that Colin Burke came in second with Necro. Henry Wisniewski got a third with Humans. Nick Freemore got Best Painted with Corn Team. Patrick Morrissey got Most Casualties. He got 29 with Black Orc.
Dang.
That's pretty good for over 6 rounds.
And he didn't play me. Wow.
Yeah, or me. Jake Sheely got Most Touchdowns with Dark Elves. Wallace Fernando, something like that. Let's see, what did he do? He got Best Stunty. So I guess they had some other awards there. And then the Wooden Spoon went to Josh Mattingly with his Underworld team. So anyways, the next one's in Tacoma, Washington in July, and then in Tampa in October. So there's 2 more of these GW Open, US Open events. If you want to go and support them, at the very least, go support James Luft, who's doing his best. I mean, obviously he came up with some other awards, whether I don't think GW provided awards for him, but they did get some cool little trophies. I think they're smaller than the ones we got last year, but more of them. But either way, it's really cool.
We probably need to get him on to talk about it.
I still think the Blood Bowl. We're going to find out. You know what? If the one in Tampa doesn't have a lot of people at it, then I'm going to say you're probably right. Because the Florida people, they're maniacs and they're crazy. and maybe sometimes not for everybody, but they do love their Blood Bowl on weekends. So if
I
the
was
Tampa Bay one doesn't get a bunch, then we're gonna know something's up
so I was
because
talking to them about I was talking about them to someone the other day. And yes, they put on a lot of tournaments. But you know what they do? They put on tournaments that are fun. They put on tournaments where they just want to play, and it shows. They're
yeah,
not
for sure.
crafting tournaments to make their rankings look good. They're not crafting tournaments to appeal to one certain person or player base or race. They're just having fun. And I can't
I agree.
complain about that.
I agree. And yeah,
Now, next
having
year for
almost
Chaos Cup, we probably need to.
half the casket.
Yeah, we. Someone mentioned that maybe we should put a cap on the Florida people for next time.
I don't know why you would do that. I mean, why punish them for being excited about it?
Give them like a only 50 can sign up immediately, and then give everyone else a chance.
Uh,
Maybe it'll expand. I hope so, but
yeah,
we
we'll
shall
see.
see.
That's all I had to say on that. So
Yeah,
I don't know where we're at in this show because we're just not. We don't have segments. We don't have
yeah.
notes. We're just
Free
going.
balling.
That's right.
Yeah, I don't hate GW. I just wish there was some more people involved, or more or oversight, or just openness. Like, tell us the team's not going to come because you have product problems. Awesome, no problem. Don't just do what they're doing. I don't know.
Yeah, it'd be nice to get some new teams.
A long time ago, they promised they'd put out all the teams of Legend before they did any new teams. And we've had a lot of new teams since then.
Yeah, it's time to. I've said this before. It's time to ban the 4 teams from Legend until they're redone. So
Mm-hmm. Especially
I think that
vampires. Screw them.
I think it's ridiculous that those teams still get catered to by the Blood Bowl
Well,
community.
truthfully, I mean, we're allowing them only because of World Cup.
Yeah, going forward, I'm going to try my very best to have an event that doesn't allow that. So
Yeah.
they're not allowed in our league either right now. And you know what? I haven't had anybody complain about it. So.
No, there's plenty of options now. Like, I love those teams, but they need to be remade to fit with the new ethos or whatever.
Correct. I agree.
And again, screw vampires.
Steve hates vampires.
After that game, I do. That's for sure.
Golly, maybe that's the team I should run.
If you can, they're amazing.
Oklahoma Bowl weekend.
4 vampires, pro on every single one of them, and then give +1 armor to all the people, even though you can't.
No, I don't think you can do that with World Cup.
You cannot. Very few
All
tournaments
right.
allow you to add stuff anymore.
Anything else you want to add before we kind of wrap this up?
Can't think of anything really.
Okay. Well, I guess since we weren't really ready for this, there is no shout outs. So I at least
Shout
got
out to
say it.
everyone at the tournament at Colorado Springs. So that was fun.
Pop that game store again. What was that game store called?
I don't know. J&J Games and U-Haul or something.
Steve, you were there 3 days ago.
It
How
doesn't
do you not-
matter. Hold on. I will
You're
look
like a
it up.
You're like a goldfish.
It
with
just
these,
doesn't
like-
matter. It was J&J Games and Hobbies and U-Haul.
Okay, you had it right then. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's U-Haul's moving truck rental in Fountain, Colorado at J&J Games.
So when you come back to
It was a nice store. They had a
Oklahoma?
lot of stuff. They had a lot of Blood Bowl stuff. No dice
so
stuff.
when you come back to Oklahoma, what food are you going to want to eat? What is something you miss? That's what I'm curious. Or is there anything you miss?
So, I kind of miss the. I don't really miss anything, but a good breakfast, Brahms sausage bagel. That's really good. The garage with the jalapeno relish is really good.
Okay.
You know what? You know what I do miss? I miss don't understand why this is a thing, but the Oklahoma Mexican places giving you free chips, salsa, queso, relish, sopapillas, and tortillas. That's not a thing anywhere else. Like, I've got authentic Mexican restaurants up here. They're good. You get chips, and I think the place I went to, I got some type of avocado salsa relish thing. It was good, but I'm not paying $6 for a thing of queso.
Yeah,
So
Oklahoma Mexican places are like, they're all fat. Just do this. Charge them $8 more.
Yeah.
And give them all this free stuff. And nobody cares.
yeah, and definitely like just the fact of going to a place and getting queso and flour tortillas is head and shoulders above anywhere else I've been to.
Well, I hope you have that when you get here.
In fact, that might be where because Thursday night I'm going to go with my friend Vin and my sister and brother to go out to eat. So we might do Alfredo's because that would get me my Mexican.
Get your Mexican feel.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, Steve, I don't have really anything else to talk about here on this front. So if you're ready to wrap this show up, you can close us out from Colorado.
Okay. Nanu. There we go. Is that good?
Yeah.
I was waiting for you to say something.
I mean, I know I typically always say something, but I was going to really let you kind of close it out.
No, I'm used to saying something like, okay. See you next time.
All right. All right. We will see you next time with a full report of Oklahoma Bowl weekend, the adventures of Mr. Steve, and whatever other maybe goodies that were supposed to be talked about, but not until July 1st or July 8th or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
And probably some Cobble playoff. We're going to find out if I can get out of the first round of the playoffs or not. So we'll have all that to you in July. For Steve, for Scott, we are both done. We'll see you later.
Ciao.
You can follow Both Down on Twitter at Both Down. You can follow Scott at
Real Scott Prime
and Steve at Kilowog2814. If you'd like to email them, the email address is bothdownpodcasts@gmail.com. Or for more information, you can visit them at bothdown.com or at facebook.com/bothdown.
Nanu. Shazba.